Touchballs69 wrote a question.
No,
Ask
I can't imagine. This is part of it. I mean, one way to solve this is, we got to get rid of anonymity for this. It's like,
Let me ask the question. Ask Sam why he sucks was the question.
yeah, that's good. Well,
Yeah.
one reason why I sucked was Twitter. That was, and I've since solved that problem. So
I mean,
touchball
69.
69.
Yeah.
Touchball 69 should be happy that I suck a little bit less now that I'm off Twitter.
I mean,
I don't have to hear from Touchballs 69 on the regular.
The fact that you have to see that it probably can have a negative effect, just even in moderation, just to see that there is, like, for me, the negative effect is slightly losing faith in the underlying kindness of humanity.
Yeah,
But
that was for me. Yeah,
you can also just reason your way out of it, saying that this is anonymity and this is kind of fun and it's kind of just the shit show of Twitter. It's okay, but it does mentally affect you a little bit.
like I don't read too much into that kind of comment. It's like that's just trolling, and it's I get I understand the fun the person is having on the other side of that. It's like,
Do you though?
I do. Well, I do. I don't. I mean, I don't behave that way, but I do. And for all I know, that person could be 16 years old, right? So it's like
It could be also an alt account for Elon. I don't know.
well, yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure Elon would just tweet that, under his own name at this point.
Oh man,
But
you love each other. Okay, so do you think so? Speaking of which, now that Elon has taken over Twitter, is there something that he could do to make this platform better? This Twitter and just social media in general, but because of the aggressive nature of his innovation that he's pushing, is there any way to make Twitter a pleasant place for Sam Harris?
Maybe,
like in the next 5 years.
I don't know. I think I'm agnostic as to whether or not he or anyone could make a social media platform that really was healthy.
So you were just observing yourself week by week, seeing the effect it has on your mind and on how much you're actually learning and growing as a person, and it was negative.
Yeah, and I also seen the negativity in other people's lives. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, he's not going to admit it, but I think it's obviously negative for Elon, right? I mean, it's just not. It's. I mean, that was one of the things that when I was looking into the Funhouse mirror, I was also seeing the Funhouse mirror on his side of Twitter, and it was just even more exaggerated. It's like, when I was asking myself, why is he spending his time this way? I then reflected on why was I spending my time this way to a lesser degree, right? And at lesser scale and at lesser risk, frankly, right? And so, and it was just so, it's not just Twitter. I mean, this is in part an internet phenomenon. It's like the whole Hunter Biden mess that you
explored.
That was based on, I mean, I was on somebody's podcast, but that was based on a clip taken from that podcast, which was highly misleading as to the general shape of my remarks on that podcast. Even, I had to then do my own podcast, untangling all of that and admitting that even in the full context, I was not speaking especially well and didn't say exactly what I thought in a way that would have been recognizable to anyone, even someone with not functioning by a spirit of charity. But the clip was quite distinct from the podcast itself. Mm-hmm. The reality is that we're living in an environment now where people are so lazy and their attention is so fragmented that they only have time for clips. But 99% of people will see a clip and will assume there's no relevant context I need to understand what happened in that clip, right? And obviously the people who make those clips know that, right? And they're doing it quite maliciously. And in this case, the person who made that clip and subsequent clips of other podcasts was quite maliciously trying to engineer, some reputational immolation for me. And being signal boosted by Elon and other prominent people who can't take the time to watch anything other than a clip, even when it's their friend or someone who's ostensibly their friend in that clip, right? So it's a total failure, an understandable failure of ethics, that everyone is so short on time and they're so fucking lazy that and we now have these contexts in which we react so quickly to things, right? Like Twitter is inviting an instantaneous reaction to this clip, that it's just too tempting to just say something and not know what you're even commenting on. And most of the people who saw that clip don't understand what I actually think about any of these issues. And the irony is, people are going to find clips from this conversation that are just as misleading, and they're going to export those, and then people are going to be dunking on those clips. And we're all living and dying by clips now, and it's dysfunctional.
See, I think it's possible to create a platform. I think we will keep living on clips. But, when I saw that clip of you talking about children and so on, just knowing that you have a sense of humor, we just went to a dark place in terms of humor.
Right.
So, like, I didn't even bother. And then I knew that the way clips work is that people will use it for virality's sake. But the giving a person benefit of the doubt, that's not even the right term. It's not like it's really like interpreting it in the context of knowing your past.
The truth is, you even need, like, I even give Trump the benefit of the doubt when I see a clip of Trump. I mean, so because there are famous clips of Trump that are very misleading as to what he was saying in context. And I've been honest about that. Like the whole, there were good people on both sides scandal around his remarks after Charlottesville. The clip that got exported and got promoted by everyone, left of center, from Biden on down, the New York Times, CNN, there's nobody that I'm aware of who has honestly, apologized for what they did with that clip. That clip, he did not say what he seemed to be saying in that clip about the Nazis at Charlottesville, right? And have always been very clear about that. So it's just, I even people who I think should be marginalized, and people who should be defenestrated because they really are terrible people who are doing dangerous things and for bad reasons. I think we should be honest about what they actually meant in context, right? And this goes to anyone else we might talk about, who's more where the case is much more confusing. But yeah, so it's just so and then I'm sure we're going to get to AI, but the prospect of being able to manufacture clips with AI and deep fakes, and that where it's going to be hard for most people most of the time to even figure out that whether they're in the presence of something real. Forget about being divorced from context. There was no context. I mean, that's a misinformation apocalypse that we are right on the cusp of, and it's terrifying.